So I want to give you a little exercise here. What I'd like you to do tonight is to get out a little notebook. You should have, by the way, you should have a notebook for this entire course. So go to the drugstore or the stationery store or wherever, and if you don't already have one, and grab a little spiral notebook or one of those little, university type notebooks, and use it for this course, okay? Get that notebook, and tonight I'd like you to do your first assignment, your first homework in this class. I'd like you to write down 5 things about me. Not about me. I mean, you're going to write down 5 things about you. So on your page it'll say 5 things about me in the first person that I want to acknowledge to myself about myself. Oh, and by the way, let's get clear about this. They don't have to necessarily be negative things, just truthful things. For instance, you may want to say, I'm a very nice person, or I'm very generous, or I'm an extremely forgiving person, or very tolerant, or whatever those qualities of your own beingness are that would allow you to tell the truth about you in a positive way. So when I say tell the truth to yourself about yourself, I mean about the whole experience that you have of who you are. Not just the negative aspects, but the positive aspects too. So in the assignment then, what I want you to do is take out that notebook and write down 5 truths about me that I want to tell myself about myself. And you know what I would do in order for you not to get mixed up or wondering whether they should be positive or negative? You can do this one of 2 ways. If you were in the room with me now doing this process live in a workshop with me, I would say I would give you one of 2 options on how to proceed from here. I would either say, pick out the first 5 that come to your mind. Just get your pen out and write down 5 truths that you want to tell to yourself about yourself. Just the first 5 that come to your mind, just write them down. Or the second way that I would invite you to do the process is to write down the 5 that you feel are most important for you to hear right now. Just that's a little longer process, but just go inside. If there were 5 things, and again, I want to say one last time, they could be positive or negative. Can I give you an example of why I'm saying that? Let me say that I've had a bad day, and I'm starting to feel bad about myself. Or I've had a tough week, or whatever it might be at work or whatever. Maybe it's really important for me right now to hear something really positive about myself, from myself, yes? Maybe it's important for me to nurture myself in that way. So that's the second way you can do this process, is to just go inside for a minute and say to the self, okay, self, what is it that's important for me to hear about me, from me, right now? And if you're quiet with yourself and there are no distractions and you're not involved, in a space where there are a lot of other noises and things, I want to suggest to you that that piece of information should come to you fairly quickly. And then if it doesn't come to you quickly, if nothing's happening as a result of that process, then write down anything you want. Just write down anything you want. Don't give it any importance. Don't allow it to have any particular impact or emphasis. Just write down 5 things. But do the process now. Tonight I want you to do that process. That's your first assignment. Tell the truth to yourself about yourself, okay? And that's the first level of truth-telling. Now the second level of truth-telling is to tell the truth to yourself about another. This could be, a spouse, a partner, a child, a member of the family, a friend, a neighbor, your boss at work, any other at all. But that's the second level of truth-telling. First level, again, tell the truth to yourself about yourself. Second level of truth-telling, tell the truth to yourself about another. Now again, we might say, wow, how hard is that? I don't lie to myself about another. As a matter of fact, it's interesting. We might lie to ourselves about ourselves more easily than we would lie to ourselves about another. However, I've discovered that it's also possible to not tell the truth to myself about another. And can I give you an example of that? This is rather personal, but it goes back about 20 or 25 years, so perhaps no harm, no foul. About 20 or 25 years ago, I was involved with a person in a romantic relationship. We weren't married, we weren't engaged, but we did have a romantic relationship. And at some point in that relationship, I knew that it wasn't going to work. I knew that I was attracted to this person, that I had a level of harmony with this person and so forth. But I also kind of knew at some point, 6 or 8 months in, that it wasn't going to be the relationship of my life, okay? I didn't want to tell myself that. I didn't want to admit that to myself. Forget about not wanting to admit it to the other person. I didn't want to admit it to myself. So I absolutely did not tell the truth to myself about this other person. And when the thought would occur to me once in a while, I would be, going to sleep at night, or maybe in the shower stall, or whatever, driving down the road, whenever we do our private thinking, and I would think to myself, I don't think this is going to work. I probably should just not pursue this. Another voice would come inside my head, and it would say, "Don't think that way. Oh, don't talk that way to yourself." It's, and give me all sorts of reasons why I shouldn't tell myself my own truth about this other person. And only after, I'm going to say, many, many weeks, 12, 14, 16 weeks, 3 or 4 or 5 months, did I finally hear that, how does the Bible call it, that still small voice within. I finally heard that voice of myself, telling myself my truth about another. I finally heard it enough that I had to stop denying it. I had to stop saying no to my own self and to what I knew to be true. So I'm giving you this example so you can really understand that these levels of truth-telling are not as easy as they sound or as they might look like on paper. Tell the truth to yourself about another may sound easy, but sometimes it's not always so easy. So listen very carefully to the truth that you can tell yourself about another, and look beyond the words of that truth to the feeling. Feelings are the language of the soul, and your feeling will tell you what your, how do I put this, what your true truth is, what your bottom line truth is, really about everything, not just about another, but about everything. So your second assignment, which I'm going to give you a chance to do tomorrow night. We won't be together like this on video for another week or so, but I'm going to give you assignments every night of the week. So you can really get into this program. So tomorrow night, your assignment is to get out that same workbook, and I want you to write down 5 truths that you choose to tell yourself about another, and we're going to make it the same other. So pick some other person. Perhaps it is your spouse, perhaps it is a romantic friend that's not your spouse, or a person at work, or the boss, whoever, a member of your family, whoever it might be. But pick the same person now about whom you're going to speak your truth. Now, since we're talking about that little turn of phrase, may I stop in my progression for just a minute and talk about that idea of my truth. When I say there are 5 levels of truth-telling, you must understand there is no such thing as the truth. Wait a minute. There's no such thing as the truth? That's right. See, absolute truth, or what I called before true truth, does not exist. I know that's a mind blower and it's a head trip for a lot of people. It took me a while to really understand that when God said to me in conversations with God, there's no such thing as truth. That is, truth doesn't exist. I was dumbfounded. I was, I bamboozled. I felt, I was just, my whole world was turned upside down because I thought surely there are certainly some absolute truths in the universe, but in fact, God said to me, every truth is contextual. That is, it is true only within the framework within which it is considered. And that framework can be very large, it can be universal, or it can be very small. It can be the tiny perspective that I and I alone hold about a thing. So as difficult as it may be to swallow, it's important for us to understand that all truth is contextual. Again, as it says here on the bottom of the screen, all truth is contextual. That is, it must be considered and can only be considered within the context within which it is presented, held, experienced, or expressed. Okay, now, if we understand that, then we understand what I mean when I say the truth. I'm talking about really your truth, that which is true for you right here, right now. And by the way, even your truth, I'm sure you know this is nothing new. Even your truth, of course, changes from time to time, from day to day, sometimes from minute to minute. And give yourself permission for that to be true for you. Give yourself permission for that to be okay with you, that your truth changes from time to time, sometimes from minute to minute, okay? So now we got that cleared away. That's what I mean, and I want you to understand that's what I mean when I loosely use the phrase, the truth, or more often I'll say your truth. So the second level of truth-telling is to tell your truth to yourself about another. And that's your second night's assignment. And write down 5 truths in your notebook, 5 truths that you hold about a particular other, okay?